Back in 2017, there was a company called FieldVR that showed up on the sim racing scene. It was a Kickstarter that promised high-end sim racing gear at affordable prices. They came in offering a direct drive wheel, load cell pedals, and a high-quality wheel, all sub $1,000. Now, these days that might not sound that impressive, but at the time, it blew everyone's mind in the sim racing space. It was too good to be true. This is when direct drive wheels cost $1,000 or more, and so it seemed unreasonable. Fast forward in time and Fanatec brought us the CSL-DD. The CSL-DD was a direct drive wheel that gave us 5 Newton meters of power at just $349. Again, almost seemed too good to be true. And then again, in 2022, MOZA Racing brought us an entire bundle. What would have previously been unrealistically cheap just a few years ago and competitive with FieldVR was now a reality. The MOZA Racing R5 bundle gave us that direct drive wheel, gave us a high quality wheel, and gave us a decent set of pedals, all for $600. That was the cheapest available direct drive bundle on the market, but more recently, Fanatec has announced they're bundling the CSL-DD with their P1 wheel and their CSL pedals and giving us a direct drive bundle for just $500. So how did MOZA respond? Well, they lowered the price of their $600 direct drive bundle to just $530. Now we have two bundles that are basically equal on specs and are very competitively priced. So today I'm going to get into a few of the differences between the bundles, make my recommendation on which one might be for you, and talk a little bit more about what's included and what I hope to see from either company in the future. So first up, let's talk about Fanatec's P1 bundle. It's a bundle so new, some of you I'm sure haven't even heard of it, but it didn't receive much fanfare, but you can get all of this for $500. So we have the CSL-DD, I think a lot of you know what that is. We have the P1 wheel, which is less popular in the Fanatec lineup, and then we have the CSL pedals, which in my opinion is one of the best deals in the sim racing hardware market. So I don't intend this to be a full review of the P1 bundle because it's not even released yet, and so it doesn't feel right to review it, but we can talk about the components contained within. Keep in mind this hasn't shipped yet. It ships sometime in April. They are taking pre-orders now, so there's a chance this might slightly change before it actually ships. But the star of the show is the CSL-DD. This is their 5 Newton meter direct drive wheelbase. It's been a hot seller since day one. It's tough to get your hands on one from what I'm hearing. I've been fortunate enough to get one from Fanatec for review, and it's been fantastic. Until I got my MOZA R21, this was my go-to wheel. You can get an upgrade kit for it to take it from the 5 Newton meter of peak force it has from the factory to 8 Newton meters when you add the power supply. So it's just a good overall a wheelbase and covers a lot of bases, and there's reasons why I would choose this. And then next up, as mentioned, this is less popular, but this is the Fanatec P1 wheel. So the P1 wheel, I got mine on Black Friday 2021, I want to say, and I had never heard of it. This is actually the P1 V2. There was a P1 wheel that has since been discontinued from what I understand, and then this V2 took over. So it's a very basic wheel. It's a round wheel, Duramold on the grips, and no magnetic shifters, but it's got enough buttons to sort of cover off most common use cases. And yeah, again, light strip across here, LED display across the top of the wheel. So just a very competent wheel that they've bundled here. And then we have these CSL pedals. And as I mentioned off the top, I think this is one of the best deals in sim racing. I think at $80 for a 2-pedal set of, you know, mostly metal construction. I think this is a very, very good deal. A lot of people complain about the rounded footrests here on the pedals, or pedal faces, I should say. And yeah, I've had no issues with it personally, but I have heard complaints, so just, I guess, buyer beware. But you can check my full review on these CSL pedals in the different video. But it's not a load cell pedal, that's worth noting, because I talked about FieldVR. FieldVR was a load cell based pedal. This is not. This has just a foam stopper to add resistance to that brake, and then just a standard accelerator pedal, but it's a very competent set of pedals. So we have a very competent set of pedals, we have a very competent wheel, and a pretty awesome wheelbase, all this for $500. And they're currently listing it as PC and Xbox compatible. You have Xbox compatibility with a CSL-DD and PC. And then anything that plugs into it, of course, becomes compatible through the wheelbase by plugging into the back into these ports right here. Not sure if you can see that. But anyway, the overall kit does give you Xbox compatibility, which is a big leg up on the competition. And speaking of that competition, let's talk about the MOZA R5 bundle. We have the MOZA R5 wheelbase, we have the ES wheel, and we have the SRP light pedals. So we'll start with the wheelbase, and this is just a slightly slimmer front-to-back version of the popular R9, 5.5 Newton meters of peak torque, so slightly more powerful than the CSL-DD. Will you notice the difference? Not really, but anyway, it comes in roughly the same amount of peak torque, and yeah, the same sort of form factor. And then we have the ES wheel. It's a budget wheel, but it has a lot of cool features. I don't believe those are magnetic shifters, although they feel a little bit more crisp than the P1 wheel. And then we have leather or pleather wrap around here. We've got a lighted LED bar, a lighted tachometer bar here. No LED display like the P1 wheel, but yeah, just similar to the P1. It's a very competent wheel, let's say that. And then over here, we have the dusty SRP light pedals. These screws are just the mounting screws. I forgot to take those off before I started filming. But these SRP light pedals, they are so similar in form factor to the CSL pedals. Different, they have the metal flat pedal faces as opposed to the rounded plastic pedal faces on the CSL pedals. But overall, very, very similar in design. So again, competent set of pedals. I would put it roughly on the same level as the CSL pedals. The ES wheel, probably, slightly better in terms of the feel of the wheel, though you give up the LED bar showing you how fast you are going or what gear you're in. And then the wheelbase here, which, yeah, so very similar to the CSL-DD in terms of power, but this is not console compatible. That's a very big note. If you are playing on console, don't get the MOZA gear because it's not currently console compatible. So how do these two stack up? We have the MOZA R5, we have the CSL-DD with P1 wheel, bundled for $500, bundled for $530. The difference in price comes down primarily to the table clamp. I can't find my table clamp, but this did ship with a table clamp. So if you're using a desk as opposed to a rig, that table clamp is essential. Probably not by coincidence. If you were to add a table clamp to the P1 bundle, guess how much it comes out to? Parity. So the cost is completely equal between the two, but I'm going to talk a little bit about why I would choose one versus the other. There is slightly, about half a Newton meter more peak torque rating in this MOZA R5. Again, will you notice the difference? Probably not, but it's so close that I wouldn't spend too much time thinking about that slight difference. If you were to talk about the wheels, I mean, I would probably slightly prefer the ES. You can see it's smaller than the P1, but I prefer this leather or pleather wrap over the Duramold. But I do like the lighted LED strip up here and the LED display across here, the tachometer bar rather, and the LED display up here. So if I had to choose a wheel, maybe slightly to the ES, but not by much, just simply because of the wrap. The wrap is nicer. The pedals are more or less equal. I couldn't squeeze it all on the table, so forgive me, but the pedals, pretty much even. Again, some people have reported problems, with their feet hurting after extended use on the CSL pedals with the rounded face. The good news is you can get metal faces for them from Fanatec, so if it does become a problem in the long term, you can order replacement pedal faces for that to get around that. But there is a couple of main reasons why I would probably go with the P1 bundle over this R5 bundle as a whole. One is the user base. There's just such a larger customer base based around Fanatec that if you're looking for settings for whatever game you play, whatever sim you play, and look up CSL-DD F122 settings, CSL-DD Assetto Corsa settings, you're going to find a lot more for this one than you will for this one. So that's not MOZA's fault, of course. They're relatively new to the game. Fanatec's been around for, what, a decade and a half. maybe longer. And they've had a chance to build up that customer base, and that community that surrounds it is a big deal. So again, not something MOZA has done wrong. It's just, yeah, unfortunately, the MOZA community hasn't had a chance to mature and get you settings for whatever game you want. You can build your own, of course. You can find some settings, but it's not going to be nearly the amount you find here. And the other big thing is the console compatibility. Now, this one's limited to Xbox. There is a PlayStation version of the CSLDD. They call it the GTDD Pro. It's going to cost you more. It comes with a different wheel. But you can get it PlayStation compatible, but out of the box, this does ship Xbox compatible. MOZA, no such luck. And I think it's a missed opportunity, frankly. I think MOZA does really well in the sort of beginner to intermediate space. I think they make fantastic products in that space, but they're limited because console players can't buy them. So I'm really hoping they get around that very soon. But yeah, that would be sort of the second reason I would go here, is because of the console compatibility. In terms of the supporting wheels, Fanatec offers a huge number of wheels. You can get $200 wheels, something like the McLaren GT3 V2. I might be saying that wrong, but it's a fantastic wheel for just 200 bucks. So if you buy this and have to save up a bit more to buy a replacement wheel, you can do that. And also you can upgrade the wheelbase. So you can get the boost pack. It's 150 bucks. A lot of people don't like that price, but regardless, you can get a boost pack for this CSLDD to bring it from 5 Newton meters to 8 Newton meters of peak torque. That's quite a big deal. So a good upgrade path there. And then the pedals, you can also add a load cell pedal. And then if we talk about the upgrade path over on the MOZA side, it's a little bit different. They do have fantastic wheels. Something like the GS wheel, which is compatible with this R5, is a phenomenal wheel. It's got Alcantara grips and magnetic shifters and dual analog carbon fiber paddles and everything you could want. It's worth more than this bundle, so I don't think many people will go that way on the upgrade path. But with that said, you could go that way. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the quick release. The quick release on the MOZA product, this and all other MOZA products, is fantastic. It's exactly what a quick release should be. Fanatec, for some reason, really struggles with it. This one just kind of screws on, and then yeah, it remains relatively sturdy, but it's not this. The MOZA is just so much better. There is a QR1 currently available from Fanatec, which makes it more like this, but there's still a set screw. So for some reason, Fanatec makes quick release just really difficult. MOZA nailed it from the start, and they have a really good quick release system. How much that's going to affect your purchase, I doubt much, if anything. But yeah, there is that possibility. And also on the upgrade path, you can get a more GT style wheel to replace. You can take the wheel off of here and apply this face to a more GT style of racing wheel. So that's a pretty cool and comparatively cheap upgrade path. A good range of options to upgrade your systems in the future, but I would say overall the advantage belongs to Fanatec. So that is kind of my verdict. I would say that overall, if you're thinking future, if you're thinking console, go with Fanatec. But I understand that for most Fanatec products, the P1 bundle doesn't appear to fall into this category. But for most Fanatec products, they're looking at long lead times. I keep having people leave messages on my videos saying, I saw your review, I tried to buy it, and it's just like an indeterminate waiting period, or it's several months or whatever. I need something sooner than that. So a lot of people are going with MOZA. I personally just ordered the MOZA shifter, and it was to my house in under 3 weeks, I believe, including processing time, shipping time, and getting across the border. So that's pretty good. So if you're looking for something sooner, it might be a good idea to go with the R5 bundle, but it depends how impatient you are. So both have their advantages for sure, but overall I give a slight advantage to Fanatec, again, for that more mature community, larger user base, the console compatibility, and the range of upgrade options, including taking this CSLDD from 5 Newton meters to 8 Newton meters. So let's wrap things up with just a minute or two talking about where I hope each company goes with their bundle. I'm hoping Fanatec kind of applies some sort of carte blanche options to the P1 bundle. I think you should be able to add in that table clamp. I think you should be able to, instead of the P1 wheel, go with something more mid-tier, something like the GT3 V2, and retain that Xbox compatibility. So that'd be great to see. And then maybe a load cell upgrade option when you ship. So maybe it brings the total price up to $700-ish, but then you get a high quality wheel, the direct drive, and the load cell pedal for $700-ish. That would be awesome, because as we led with, that's sort of the Feel VR dream, and they would be right there if they offer those upgrades. As I say, kind of a la carte when you go to order your P1 bundle would be great. I might have said carte blanche earlier, getting my French terms confused. But then this ES, the R5 bundle with the ES wheel, I think they're crushing it. I think you should be able to order not only this round or D-shaped wheel, but also order the GT wheel at the same time. Maybe you could bundle it in, or maybe you could order one or the other. Again, just like the Fanatec, it would be great if you could also order the load cell pedal at the same time, and then just kind of complete that, get to the $700 price point with the already high quality wheel and nice leather wrapped wheel, the direct drive wheelbase, and then the load cell pedals, all coming in at $700-ish. I think that's the goal. I think if you could get that to customers for $700-ish and be, you know, one and done, you don't have to think about it again. You have real high quality components top to bottom for $700. I think it would be a hot seller, but as it stands, that's not the case. But I think both companies have done a really good job. Well done to Fanatec for pushing the market down to $500. In fact, just a hair under $500 for this direct drive bundle that, again, was just inconceivable just a few years ago, but they've done it. And MOZA was the first to do it with this bundle, with this $600 bundle, now $530. Well done to them for lowering the price to stay competitive. Well done to them also for including the table clamp, because I think that's going to be a big deal for a lot of people who want this P1 bundle, who are looking for something budget and don't necessarily have a rig to put it on at this time. They'll want that table clamp. So great job overall by both companies, and hope to see more sort of a la carte options in the future when you're ordering your respective bundles. And that's it. Let me know in the comments which one you would choose or which one you already own. Thanks for watching.